esteemed audience kind of an overview of your background and some of the novels you've written?
Sure. My name is Lamar Giles, and I've been writing professionally since I was about 21 years old. That's when I sold my first short novel. I'll be 40 this year. Between the ages of 21 and 30, I sold a few short fiction pieces, got mostly rejections, kept working on the craft though. And by the time I was 30, I sold my first young adult novel, Fake ID, which is about a teenage boy in witness protection who moves to his fourth town in 4 years and ends up having to solve his best friend's murder, though he fears his own father may be involved. So that book sort of put me on the map in terms of being a young adult mystery thriller writer. And my books ever since then have fallen in that category. There was Endangered, which is about a teen photographer who sneaks around taking pictures of the meanest kids in her school and posting photos on the internet of them doing dirt. This inspires a crazy person to go after those kids. There's my novel Overturned, which is about a young girl in Las Vegas who has to figure out who framed her father for murder. Then my novel Spin, which just came out in January, about two frenemies who have to solve their DJ friend's murder. And now my latest book, which will be out in April, is The Last Day of Summer, which is a departure from the thrillers. It's a middle grade fantasy. It stars the legendary Austin Boys of Logan County. There's Otto, who's a lovable know-it-all, and Sheed, who's sometimes cranky but always cool. And they get tricked into freezing time by the villain, Mr. Flux. And they have to work with some really strange characters to save the day. So that's sort of what I've been working on over the last 20 years. And I can say I'm pretty proud of what I produced, and I hope the readers like it too.
What month will you turn 40?
November.
Oh, okay. Well, see, there's something else for me to jealous of. I'll be turning 40 in August, so you're a couple of months younger too.
We both started in on the tail end of the 70s then.
Yep, younger and more handsome. Oh, ain't it a shame?
I'm gonna be blushed, man.
Well, let's start with talking about The Last Day of Summer. I've got my copy right here. I don't want to give too much away since obviously outside of really special important people like me, it's not available yet, but it will be soon. So with the last Day of Summer, you mentioned Otto and Sheed on a mystery. Can you how much can you talk about at this stage about what happens to them?
Okay, so I can give you the basic setup. They're known as the legendary Austin Boys of Logan County. Logan County is a very weird place. It's a supernatural town where a lot of strange things happen, and the town tend to rely on their local adventurers to solve these problems. That happens to be Otto and Sheed, who are the star of this book. But there's also a rival team that I won't name right now, but they pop up later in the book. And I think they have some very interesting interactions with Otto and Sheed. So they're not the sole protectors of the county. But a mysterious villain shows up. His name is Mr. Flux. And he tricks the boys into using a magical camera to snap a picture of the county from on top of a hill. And when they snap that picture, it freezes time everywhere within the confines of the photo. So that's the whole county. Time stuck. And when time sticks, it sort of puts the agents of time, we call them clock watchers, out of work. So they're free, they're anxious, and them meeting up with Otto and Sheed causes a lot of chaos. It's a super strange book, but really fun. It was inspired partially by the Phantom Tollbooth, particularly with a lot of the wordplay in the book. And it's just like something I've always wanted to do. And my current publishing situation finally allowed for me to give it a shot.
That's something that gets name checked a lot. The Phantom Tollbooth. I'm always hearing this book is the new Phantom Tollbooth. This one on the back says that this is the Phantom Tollbooth meets the Hardy Boys, and I would say that's 100% an accurate description, which is rare. But I would go ahead and put this on the shelf next to the Phantom Tollbooth. That's how highly I thought of this as I read it, and I really enjoyed it. And I felt that it was almost, it's obviously it's a fantasy, but it's a little bit of a thriller as well, just in terms of there's always something exciting happening. Every chapter, or almost every chapter, ends with sort of not quite an exact cliffhanger every time, although there are lots of cliffhangers. But there's always a little bit of something that propelled me and kept me wanting to know what was going to happen next. How many drafts did you have to do of each chapter and each chapter ending to get that accomplished?
I say last day took probably 4 drafts. And the reason being, many years ago, it probably would have taken me much more. But because I've been writing thrillers for the last several years, I'm very used to that sort of scene break, chapter break setup that'll sort of leave a hook to keep the reader involved. So I go into it now knowing that I need to end my chapters in a certain way. And even if I can't get it in first draft or second draft, I've got a note there that says, come back and fix this. So it took maybe one draft took about 3 months. The second draft was just a cleanup draft before it went to the editor. Then the editorial notes came back. So that was draft 3 after those notes. And then one more pass once the editor saw my changes, told me what she liked and didn't like, and we polished it. So yeah, about 4.
Gotcha. And I'm just chuckling because I do that to myself occasionally also. I'll write in, make this funny later, add something exciting here, and then present me will hate past me. Like, why didn't you just do it? Then I could edit it.
Yeah, I think our process is similar because I spend a lot of time going back to those highlighted notes like, oh, I wish I'd just taken care of it earlier.
On the other hand, you do have the confidence that, well, okay, this is mostly done. So if I just do what past me didn't do, eventually there will be a book.
Yeah, and also I find when I'm writing notes like that, it tends to be out of fatigue. And you know, I've probably been writing most of the day, so I've gotten to that point where I'm just not really able to hone it to a razor's edge. So it's good to take a break, rest, come back fresh, and look at it again, I think, sometimes.